Hi, my name is Raquel. Thank you for coming to watch my podcast today. Thank you to all new and returning viewers. And as you can see, Soot is on my lap today. Dakota and Rusty are over there by the window. I decided to film today's episode from my usual chair, from where I usually sit and knit. And we'll see how long he stays on my lap. He seems to be enjoying his little belly rub, so we'll see. He misbehaved yesterday. Let's start with that. He misbehaved yesterday. I finished my the shawl that I was knitting last week. Where are you going, Biz? And yesterday I was looking at I pulled it out to look at it, and I guess one of the little balls of yarn fell out, and I didn't notice it, and he got a hold of it and he ate some of it. Luckily I knew how many grams the ball had when I finished the shawl, and so I weighed it, and there was only 1 gram missing, so that was about 4 meters of yarn that he ate. And I was already, worst case scenario, having to take him back to the hospital for him to do the same thing that happened when he was 6 months old. But luckily that wasn't necessary. He eventually threw it all up, and I did go to the bathroom and I did measure every single piece of yarn that came out of him, and it was just over the 4 meters, which was pretty much what he ate. So he's fine now. He was upset with me yesterday because I got angry with him, obviously, and he's complaining now, as you can see by his face. Wanna go? Gonna go annoy the dog? Yeah? You gonna go annoy the dog? Go on. Off you go then. That's what he's been doing all morning, annoying the dogs. Dakota is pretty much, stop it. Hey, stop it. Hey! I put the chair next to me in case Rusty wants to come join me. So, let's get started. Finished objects. I have 1 finished object and 1 half finished object. This one you saw last week was the shawl. So I didn't finish it on Sunday as I planned. I only finished it on Tuesday. So it still needs to be blocked. I have woven in most of the ends. There's a couple of ends I still need to weave in. And here at the very end, even though I still had, and this colorway is the yarn that he ate, by the way, I wanted to leave some yarn for the pinwheel blanket that I'm making, so I decided to start striping in the orange at the end here. So I did 3 stripes of the orange, and then I did the complete lace section. And I mentioned last week that I was going to do some maybe an extra garter section at the end. I didn't do that. I just added 4 rows in garter, just to give the edge a bit more firmness, so to speak. So this is going to be one of the ones that I have to block once I have the spare bedroom cleared out. If you hear noise, that's Soot annoying the dogs, like I said. There's a pillow missing over there, you see. One of the pillows was completely, the fabric that my mom had used to make the pillow was completely, wasted away. So I took it to my parents' place, and my mom's going to make a new pillowcase for it. And now they're fighting. I mean, it's not like there aren't enough pillows here for everyone, but there's 2 small pillows, and then there were 2 big pillows, which now one of them is currently at my parents' place while my mom makes a new cover for it, and then there's the other big pillow, and then there's a dog basket. But the dog basket is just a collection place for toys, and the big pillows are where they all need to sleep. So now they're all fighting over the one big pillow. I mean, just like regular little kids. Anyway, so I finished that on Tuesday. Then the Sock Madness, the second round of Sock Madness only finished on Thursday evening or Thursday mid-afternoon. So I was like, well, I'm not going to sit and do nothing for 3 days. And we pretty much all figured that Friday we wouldn't really get anything, so that would be 4 days of doing nothing. So finished the shawl on Tuesday, and then I picked up some yarn that I got at the beginning of April from Dona Agulha in Famalicão, and maybe this was from March. Maybe I bought this yarn in March. And this is Katia Darling Rainbow. I don't have the tags here to show. In two colorways. This is the 300, which is like just like grays, beige, some blacks, and then the 302, which is like reds, blacks. There's a bit of orange in there too. And I started off with a brioche cowl. That was my idea when I first bought these yarns. But I cast on 100 stitches. I did a whole bit, and then was like, well, no, it's too small. Didn't fit around my head, so I was like, ripped it all out. Start again. Cast on 150 stitches instead, and that was too big. And by that time, I was like, fed up with doing the brioche stitch, so I just decided to do a plain stockinette stitch cowl, and I started with this one. That's why there's so little of it left. And I did about, I believe, 25 rows or so in the beginning, and then I started adding in the other color. I'll show you the other side so you don't see the striping. So I started adding in the other color, and then I got to a point where I just alternating every other row, and I'm almost to the point where I can do the same thing that I did here, which was I knit one row in the red, and then I knit 4 rows in the other color, and then 2 rows in the red, 3 rows in the grays, then 3 rows in the red, 2 rows in the gray, and then 1 row, and 4 rows in the red, and then 1 row in the gray, and then from then on I started striping them one by one. So like I said, now I'm almost at the at the end of this one, that I can start doing the same thing again, but the other way around, and then I'll just finish it off with the red. And that's what it looks like. Quite like the striping effect here. Here it's like mostly the white, the lighter areas, and it fits. I put it around, and it will need a bit of blocking, especially here, the section here where I'm alternating the skeins, obviously. So yeah, and I knit this basically on, this was maybe an hour or so on Wednesday evening, because even though I started on Tuesday, I knit the first version of it on Tuesday, and then Tuesday morning, before going to the office, I usually have about 10-20 minutes or so to just sit and relax and knit before I leave. And that's when I tried it on, and I was like, okay, it doesn't even go over my head, so that's when I ripped it out and restarted it with 150 stitches, and I did that all on Wednesday, so I had about a good 10 to 15 centimeters of the brioche section already, and I was seeing that I was running out of yarn. So if I wanted to make the cowl the height I wanted it, there's no way I would either have to buy more skeins, which that wasn't the plan, or I would just rip it out and start again using less stitches. And that's what I did on the Wednesday evening when I got home. I looked at it, I debated whether or not to just carry on and finish the cowl as it was, but then it would be too short in height. So I just ripped it all out, and I started this again, and I did I think I did the first 25 rows, and then the rest was Thursday and Friday. So yeah, been a quick knit so far. Then yesterday I was going to pick this up again in the morning to finish it off, because basically I think I have maybe like 2 or 3 hours of work left on this, if that. And let's put it away because of misbehaving yesterday. I don't want any yarn lying around. So I was going to pick this up yesterday, but when I got up after walking the dogs and everything, and then when I sat down to have my breakfast, I switched on my computer and I noticed that the socks for Sock Madness, for the third round of Sock Madness, had come out. So obviously I was gonna cast those on straight away. And you saw the little intro at the beginning where I was knitting the cuff for the second sock, because the first sock is finished. So I'll show you the cuff close up. Now this needs to be blocked properly. It does fit. It's a bit tight to get on my this section here, the colorwork section, is a bit tight to get around my ankle, but it does fit. Sorry, I'm going to move this around just a bit. It does fit. So there's a little sheep at the top, then this pink part is like little rabbits, and that's the part you can't really see unless it's it needs to be properly blocked. And then there's little chickens, little flowers, and then some more little sheep on the foot. So yeah, I finished off the foot this morning, and let me see, I'm sitting wrong, sorry. So yeah, I did all of this and the gusset yesterday, and the idea was to finish the whole sock yesterday, and I would have been able to if the dogs hadn't wanted to go outside as often as they did, because it's nice weather, which is okay, you know, I mean, that's fine, I don't mind. So I finished off the rest of the sock, the foot today. Actually I was sitting and knitting this, the toe in the kitchen while I was making my my lunch, which I still haven't had, so it's going to be a short episode because I'm really hungry. So yeah, so I'll show you the yarn I'm using first, and then I'll show you the cuff as it is right now. So the main color, or the color for the foot, is this brown, and this is Drops Fable in color 300. Let's put this here so it's easier to show. This is my little notebook, by the way. I know I showed you a different one, but I tried again, and this is where I keep all my notes in. So this is Drops Fable, color 300, and then we needed 6 contrasting colors, and I'm using more or less the color that the original pattern uses, except for one color. In the photo of the pattern, it actually shows 7 different colors, but that was the test knit that she did, the prototype, and since then she, the designer, which is pattern, by the way, sorry, it's Lambs and Chickens and Bunnies by Russ Clark. That's the pattern. So then I decided to, I had these mini skeins that I got from the, where did I get these? Oh, these were from last year's sock club that Rosario and Filomena, sorry, that Rosario and Filomena did last year in September. So these were hand dyed by Filomena, Yarn Adventures. So I had this little set of 5, and basically all that I needed was the color for the sheep, which is here. And this is also Yarn Adventures, and this was a full skein that I used for some other project. I think this was one of the mystery cows I did for Stephen West mystery cow, that was it. And it was a shawl that started off really strange, and I wasn't sure I was going to complete it, but then when I finished it I really liked it, then my mom ended up keeping it. So I'm gonna have to make a new one for myself. So, but yeah, it's I can't remember the name of it, but I'll link the pattern in the show notes. So let's see if I can hold all of these. These are the mini sets. This is like the sheep color, and then this is the foot. Now, hopefully this can all. Nope. Can't hold it all together. So that's where it is. Yeah. Here. So that's where all the colors are. So the pink in the cuff is also the pink of the bunnies over here, and that's the part in the pattern. If you see the photos, that's the part that's different. This pink is different from this pink in the pattern, but it's supposed to be one color. So yeah, I'm really happy with it. I'm knitting these on 2.25 millimeters. I did start the section over here on 2.5, which, like I said, you saw that in the intro section. And then I've done the cuff longer than what the pattern calls for. From here to here, it's supposed to be 6 inches. I think I have close to 8 inches, so I'm okay in terms of height. I did do 2 rows after this section here before starting the heel flap, and then we had to have a minimum of 50 rows after the heel turn. So not after the gusset, but after the heel turn. So that's my 50 rows. And then I did this pattern for the foot, and then I did another 5 rows before starting the toe, because I had read that the toe, the test knitters of the sock had said that the toe was slightly small. Maybe in terms of not as long as usual, shall we say. And I had actually knit my usual 60 rows, because this basically is an 8-row repeat here, and I figured if I do my 70 rows, which is what I usually do for my foot, and then the toe, that should be okay. Sorry. But so I knit up to 60 rows, and I tried it on, and I was already at the toe section. So I ripped out the 10 rows I'd done extra, did the chart, and then added another 5 rows just in case for the toe. And as you can see, where this orange stripe starts up to here, that is the toe. Let me see if I'll take this off and I can show you better. So the toe really is short. So from here to here is the toe, and that really is shorter than a usual toe. So yeah, and if you want to see the sheep up close, sheepy. So yeah, that's it for the knitting today. I'll show you the cuff that was knitting at the beginning. So this is the start of the second sock. It's a rolled cuff. Let's see if I can show this properly. So it's going to sit like this. I can show you on the sock maybe. I still have a whole bunch of ends to weave in. That's the only downside of doing color work. You have a whole bunch of ends to weave in. So that's what the rolled cuff looks like. It's not, it's a twisted cuff. It's not a rolled cuff. It's a twisted cuff. And then the rest. So yeah, I'm happy with the sock. I just need some blocking. I am kind of worried that this blue in the top will bleed, because yesterday my fingers were completely blue, especially this one, because that's where I hold, you know, when I'm knitting, it's the one rubbing mostly on the stitches. And the shirt I was wearing got a blue mark over here, because, you know, I have my pin over here, so where it passed by, that's where it was blue. But I got that out, so that's not too bad. But that leads me to believe that it might bleed a bit, so I'm hoping it won't bleed too much. Now obviously I'm gonna have to sew in a whole bunch of ends, but that's okay. I'm used to that. That's one of the things we have to do, right? On knitters, we have to sew in ends. Now, I don't know where soot is because I dropped that other ball of yarn. And I'm just going to pause it because I think he's gotten it already, so just a sec, I'll be back. Okay, so I'm back. It was underneath the table, he did not get it. But, he's over there by the window. Okay, so that was it for the knitting, really. I have nothing else to show, nothing else to say, really, regarding knitting, that is. Then, yeah, it's going to be a short week for me today, for this week, I mean, because there's a public holiday on Tuesday, so I take Monday off. Yeah, so I'm going to have some more knitting time. I am planning on Tuesday, though, to go into the craft room and try to sort it out. And maybe I'll do a bit of filming. I'll see if I remember to do so. There's a lot of clearing out to do, so that's what I'm going to be trying to do, anyway. The goal is to finish this pair of socks today, or at least tomorrow morning, so I can photograph them and send the email saying that I've finished. I have noticed that there, the faster teams have already several people that finished. My team, I don't think anyone's finished yet. I think maybe there's several people that have finished one sock like me and are busy on their second sock, but yeah. I would just really like to get onto the next round. I would like to get as far as possible in this competition. So we'll see how far I get. So this is round 3 of the competition of the Sock Madness, and I'm really hoping to get on to round 4 at least, and we'll see what that pattern is. I still have to find my beads. I know where they are more or less, but hopefully with clearing out the craft room, I can find them. Sorry. Just drinking some tea. What am I drinking? It's raspberry and pomegranate tea. I think it's either Twinings or the Ahmed tea, which I can buy at the supermarket. And I have this tea that a friend of mine brought from the US, which is the Tazo tea, and I've been pretty good in using it every so often. I didn't want to, because it's really nice. I didn't want to have it run out, but I've just recently found out that they sell this at Starbucks, or yeah, Starbucks sells Tazo teas worldwide, and there is a Starbucks here, not in Port just yet, but there is one on the other side of the river. So I'm planning on going there tomorrow. I know how to get there, and we'll see if they have the tea I want. There's several other flavors. I checked out the Tazo website to see where I could buy this, and that's when I found out that it was sold via Starbucks. So I'm gonna go there tomorrow. I'm gonna go to Starbucks tomorrow and see if I can find the flavor I want, and maybe some of the other flavors I want. And I'll let you guys know next week if that's possible. If I bought the teas I want. I think if anything, I can maybe order it via the Starbucks web page and have them deliver it at the store. That way, I believe I don't have to pay postage. I have to see how that works, but I think that was the way. I read something like that was possible. If that's the case, then maybe that's what I'll do. If I don't find the flavors that I like. So yeah, that's it really. I'm gonna have lunch because I'm really hungry now, and I'm gonna have to take the dogs out again. Even though they went recently, they really want to go out. But I'm gonna have lunch first. So have a nice week. I'll see you guys next week. If I remember to do a bit of filming while clearing out the craft room. If I clear out the craft room, I'll post that on Tuesday or Wednesday. And yeah, and there goes Sit. See him over here eating? That's his eating spot. The dog's eating spot is just here, below by this thing over here. That's where their food is, because they get locked in. When I leave them, when I go to the office, they stay here in the living room because my hallway is open. So there's a door closing off the front door to the rest of the hallway. So it's wide open, and I have neighbors. One neighbor who comes to the door and talks to the dogs, which makes them make more noise, and then I have other neighbors that complain because they're making too much noise. So the best solution I found is to put them here in the living room, leave them in the living room, and they're fine. So I'll leave water and food here for them. Soot's food is up there because otherwise Dakota goes and eats it. Although she's been good about that. She's not eaten it lately. If she finds one or two little pieces lying around, then she'll eat it. But if the bowl's on the floor, she won't actually go there and eat it anymore. Soot, on the other hand, finds it hilarious to grab the dog food and play with that, and Dakota does not like that at all. So, okay, I'm gonna go now, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye. Quick little thing that I wanted to say that I forgot to mention last week. Our knit group usually has a get-together on the 4th Saturday of every month. But this month we decided to change it because some people from Lisbon and some other areas of the country are going to come to Porto next week Saturday. And so we changed our knit group so that they could join us. So if you're in the Porto area next week Saturday, from 3 o'clock onwards, we'll be at the Confeitaria Arcadia. And if you're downtown Porto and you're standing with your back to the NH Hotel, looking up at the town hall, if you look towards the left, there's some construction going on there, and we're in the second cafe after the construction. So it's the Arcadia. 3 o'clock onwards, we'll be there, and hopefully we'll get a nice big group next week Saturday. Like I said, there's I think at least 3 or 4 people coming from other areas of the country to join us, and hopefully the regular people will also be coming. So yeah, if you're in the area, come join us. Feel free. So yeah. Oh, and when you enter the cafe, we're always at the top of the cafe. So there's like the ground floor, so to speak, and then there's like stairs going down, and there's a couple of stairs going up. We're always at the top part of the cafe. So yeah, feel free to join us. Bye.